उन सर को बता देना ये एग्जैक्ट में कीजिए
Hi, welcome all to another session of UPES at the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. I am Dhruv Sharma from Department of Electrical Power and Energy. I'm working here as an assistant professor. And let me just go through the basically the power and scenario and energy scenario that is there in the country, and moreover we'll discuss about the programs that we are offering and the opportunities that you can get later on. So just to start with, we have the electrical power energy department, and we basically work with the electrical energy and the power sector in India, wherein we start off with the generating station, as you all must be aware of the generating stations all around. Then the basic structure here of the power system is the generating station, then we move on to the transmission lines, then the distribution side, and then we come on to the consumer end, right, where you are sitting. So the power that we get from the generating station is what we get from the transmission lines. So basically what we are going to study here and what we are going to talk about is we talk about the power, how power is being generated, how power is going to be transmitted, and how it is going to be distributed to the consumer end. And we'll talk about the scenario as well, the market scenario, how is it going, and we'll talk about the companies that are working in this field, and moreover the future, which is the most important thing for you guys. So let us just go through the generating station part. In generating station part, I've not covered in detail with the slides, but I'll just give you an overview of this. The generating station basically is an area, or we can say it's a particular area wherein we uh, select that area to generate electricity out of many sources. So that can be wind, that can be solar, that can be thermal, that can be nuclear, and so on and so forth. So based on the source that we use, we divide these into various sectors. Like uh, broadly we classify it into two sectors. One is renewable energy and one is non-renewable energy. So you all must be aware about the renewable energy, which is the buzzing part of energy which is going on right now, and wherein all the research work is being done in the renewable energy so as we can conserve our nature. So based on this, we have classified into renewable and non-renewable. So when we talk about renewable energy, we are considering wind, solar, tidal, biomass, biogas, and so on and so forth, which do not impact the environment around us. Whereas the non-renewable sources, which we also call them as conventional sources, they comprise of basically you have thermal, you have nuclear, uh, and so on and so forth. But the thing is, using these sources, thermal, nuclear, and other sources, what we are doing here is we are somehow mitigating the natural environment that we have here, right? So in order, and we are increasing the emissions. So now the world is moving towards renewable energy, but that doesn't mean that non-renewable energy is not good. It is good, it is cheap as compared to renewable energy, as uh, the term that we call it as the maturity. The technology has been matured here when we consider the non-renewable sector. So when the technology matures, the price per unit goes down a lot. So majority of the countries are using the non-renewable energy, but now they are shifting towards the renewable sources. So that's about the generating station part. Moving on to the transmission lines, we generate power and we transmit power from one end to the other end. We cannot have generating station at each and every city, or beyond, each and every city. So we we select, let's say for hydro is a typical example of a big hydro dam, is a typical example of non-renewable source because it impacts the nature. Now it can only be made, or it can only be constructed only in a designated place. So where you have the rivers, like you have Uttarakhand, let's for example, Uttarakhand does have many hydro stations, but the power that Uttarakhand needs is not that much as it is generating. So it is liable to transfer power from one end to the other states as well. So from Uttarakhand, the power can be transmitted to other states. Now, while doing so, it might incur some losses, technical losses as well. So in order to reduce the technical losses, we step up the voltage. So as if you are aware of the basic Ohm's law and all, if we step up the voltage or the power, when you have the Ohm's law, the other you have the power conservation. If you increase the voltage, the current reduces. As soon as the current reduces, the losses goes very low. So what we do is, the longer the transmission lines, we increase these voltage levels for each transmission line. So that's how we are basically transmitting power from one end to the other. So and this all happens because, and this all is being done, searching for the reason that generating stations are not available everywhere. So but the power is required everywhere as of now. So, and it is going to increase, the demand of the power is going to increase a lot. Coming on to the distribution side, the state distribution sectors or the distribution companies are responsible for the power transfer, or the power transfer to the consumers. So they basically operate as a mediocre company between the transmission sector, the generation sector, and the consumer end. So it is their responsibility to extract the money out of the consumers based on the usage of the consumer, and that's how you pay the bills, and that's how you get the electricity bills out of the power that you use. So the distribution sector comprises of industrial, commercial, and residential consumers, which practically cater to every sector. So when we talk about the residential consumers, we talk about the low voltage sides. When we talk about industrial, we are talking about the high voltage consumers. So based on the voltage levels that you are operating at, we have different tariff rules and different tariff regulations. So this was a general overview. Before going on to the future, we should be aware of what is happening and what we are going to study. Now this is a typical nuclear power plant, and this is just to demonstrate how the power is being generated and being transferred to the consumer end. Now this particular slide is just to demonstrate, nothing else, not to go into deep as far as nuclear power is concerned, but just a working example of how power is being generated and how it is being transferred to the consumer end. So therein you can see the generation, the transmission, and the distribution part, of course, is not visible, but yeah, we can say that it is there. Now these are the four major building blocks of a power system. One is generation, transmission, the other is distribution, and then we have the utilization. So generation is wherein we generate power, and we generate it at certain voltage level. So let's say for the thermal power plant, it is broadly around 11 kV or so. So 11,000 volts it is being generated, and then it is being stepped up in transmission, and then transmitted through the long distances. Then the distribution sector, what it does is, it brings down the voltage level and then it feeds to the consumer. And the utilization part comes when we say the consumer, at what voltage level the consumer is operating. So considering all these factors, we can say the power system is more or less complete, and we are going to enhance this power. The quality of the power system is to be enhanced further. So again, as you can see, the generation part shows the thermal power plant on the top part of the picture. The transmission sector shows the long distance transmission lines and the substations as well. Then you have the distribution substation, distribution transformers, and the utilization part shows you the industries which have been. Okay. Coming on to the power sector and the present scenario of the power sector and the future, what the future is going to be. Now, the power sector has been ever increasing since the first power line, transmission line, has been laid long back. Now, this, what is the reason for this increase in demand? The basic reason is, the first of all, the need of the consumer. The appliances that we are getting is more and more dependent on electricity, more and more, the economics. Like, if you talk about the LED lighting, it is more economical as compared to a simple lantern that we used to have in the earlier days. So the usage of electricity is now penetrating the humanity to such an extent that nobody is going to say no to electricity. So right now the penetration is, let's say, 60%, and maybe in next 10 years or 20 years it is going to increase to 80 to 90% as well. So we can say that this could be the next sunshine factor in the growth of Indian economy, and a huge potential for job market. The basic question that many people do come up with is, what about the coal sector? What about the coal gate, this thing, scam and all? The coal, the thermal power plants operate on coal. That's true, and India is surplus with thermal power plants. The capacity is being increased for thermal power plants to a greater extent now, and moreover, the reserves for coal in India is quite high. And moreover, the companies that are operating thermal power plants are bringing coal from Indonesia as well. So the thing is, even if there is some coal block or some kind of issue that may come or may not come in a later part of the years, the operation of power plant will not stop at any cost. It is not going to stop, because it is, see, we have two types of power plants. One is base power plant, and the other is the peak load power plant. So base load power plant is essentially to be worked upon day in and day out throughout the year. So we cannot afford to stop those thermal power plants at all. The other thing that why I showed you the nuclear power plant is, the reason being that nuclear power plant is going to be the next thermal power plant, as per my words. More or less, see, thermal power plants are based on coal, and coal is depleting worldwide. And since coal is depleting, maybe after, let's say, 50, 60 years or maybe 100 years, the coal would decrease by quite a substantial amount, and wherein we will have to take some measures to reduce the usage of coal. So in order to avoid that, what we are going to do is, we are coming up with nuclear power plants, and we are going to increase the capacity of nuclear power plants to a such an extent, because it can be used as base load power plant as well. So to cater to the base load, we can use nuclear, and it can run day in and day out throughout the year for n number of years. So nuclear is going to be the next future power generation. Whereas if we consider other areas, let's say we consider, as you can see in the graph, the thermal is increasing, but the share of renewables is also increasing, and it will increase. Now the renewable penetration is around 20 gigawatts, more than 20 gigawatts in India, and it is going to increase to, let's say, 50 or 200 gigawatts in next 5 years. So 20% of the total demand in India is to be catered by renewable energy. So that is this plan that government has come up with, MNRE has come up with, and it is to be done by 2020. So we hope that the renewable sector will grow immensely, along with the nuclear and hydro. Hydro, of course, is mini hydro is one area wherein we can term it as a renewable source, wherein we do not have a bigger catchment area. If we do not have a bigger catchment area, we are not harming the nature as such. So hydro is one which is coming up nicely, mini hydro. Then nuclear is going to surpass thermal, that's for sure, and renewable is of course going up. Now the problem with renewable here is it cannot be treated as a base load power plant, because there are a lot of fluctuations when we consider renewable, because it is all nature dependent. It cannot be worked on day in and day out. It cannot be worked on for 24 hours. Of course the research is being done whether how to extract maximum energy out of it, but still renewables are not the first choice for for any country. So this is the growth in the power sector that we have shown. Of course, the demand is ever increasing in India or be it any other country. So if with increase in demand, we have to cater to the demand as well. So in order to cater to the demand, we have to come up with new thermal power plants, new hydro power plants, nuclear, renewables, which comprises of course wind. Now the main focus is on wind and nuclear, which is going to come up in next few years. Coming on to the courses being offered in UPES by Department of Electrical Power and Energy, we have two courses. One is BTech Power System Engineering and the other is BTech in Electrical Engineering. Now we'll discuss shortly. We'll discuss about the a brief discussion about the how the coursework is different with Power System Engineering and how it is different in Electrical Engineering. Like electrical engineering is one of the core branches and the basic branches that is being offered all across the country by all colleges. See, the point here is the difference between power system engineer and electrical engineer would be electrical engineer would work on the transmission part, the distribution part, and the electricity part as well, whereas power system engineering or power system engineer would work on the power plant operations. So just to give you an overview of the subjects or the courses that we are going to cover, the common courses is shown in the first tab, which is the electrical circuits, electrical machines, the transmission, distribution, switchgear, machine design, so power system stability analysis, automation and control, and one of the most important is project management, which many student don't take seriously, but this is one of the most important courses that is to be done as you have to progress in the company as well, right? So these are the list of the main common courses that we have in electrical and power systems. Coming on to the difference of the courses, in electrical we study more of signal systems, we study more of microprocessor, microcontrollers, amplifiers, the HVAC and DC transmission. So we are focusing more on the electricity part, more on towards the research oriented study, whereas in power system engineering we are focused more on the power plant operation and the power plant maintenance practices, steam generator, heat exchanger. So we are precisely talking about the power plant operations. So we would a power system engineer would see themselves would see himself towards the power system generation part and some parts of the transmission, whereas electrical engineer would of course go towards the transmission part and can go for the higher studies as well for research and all. Coming on to the lab facilities, we have power system lab, electrical machine lab, energy lab, is smart grid site we have in the power electronics lab. Now all these labs are pretty common with the departments, electrical departments. The only specific I'm going to talk about is the smart grid site. Now the smart grid site has been smart grid is one of the major buzzing area that is coming up right now, and many people do like the word smart in terms of the electrical branch has always been the core branch and the basic branch basic entity of engineering. Now, if we connect smart to it, it would definitely give an edge to the technology, and the smart grid basically gives you the uh, overview of the smart grid, of course, the grid that you're working on, and combining that grid with the communications. So automation and communication are the major area which is being incorporated in the grid. So remote connections, or the remote activity that we can do with the smart grid is more important. So we do have a setup of smart grid site here in UPES, and we also deal with the monitoring of transformers, which is remote monitoring again, which is the when we talk about simulation in electrical engineering and in power system engineering, it is very difficult to do the practicals or the experiments hands on high voltage. Of course, we can do the low voltage. We do have the labs for the low voltage and all, but the high voltage setups are quite difficult to operate, especially for students. So, simulation plays a major role in uh, basically learning practical things. So we have the software called ETAP, which is Electrical Transient Analysis and Program, which basically caters to the distribution sector and the transmission sector, wherein you can have the generator, you can have the consumers, and you can check the load flow, how much power is being taken in, how much power is being generated, how much power is being lost in between. So it gives you a good idea, which is very difficult to learn, which is very difficult to basically see practically. So the other is MATLAB, which is one of the most famous simulation softwares. Then we have the Skylab, we have COMSOL, the designing, and the Homer software as well. These are some of the pictures depicting the laboratories. We have the machine lab, the power system lab, showing the insulators and all, and we have the power electronics lab as well. As far as student activities are concerned, we are attached with IEEE. Me myself is the faculty convener of IEEE Student Chapter Society here in UPES. So we do quite a lot of technical events throughout the year, and we of course do have the privilege of calling up various professors, various dignitaries as well, from various colleges and government organizations, wherein we give students the extra lectures and extra edge over the other students. Now, in talking about the industrial exposure and internships, we do have a good track record wherein our students have consistently cracked through ABB, NTPC, L&T, Schneider Electric, PGCIL, then we have Thermax, Jindal, Alstom, Tata Power, and so on and so forth. The list is ever continuing. Now we have certain interesting trainings as well. Apart from the industrial tours that we do, we also have specific simulator training programs, thermal power plant simulator training programs for BTech PAC people. So BTech Power System Engineering people, we do have the power plant simulators. Now, since the power plant simulator cannot be installed in college or any educational university or anywhere regarding the institution and all, we have a tie up with SR Power in Gujarat, which basically takes in students in groups, and they give the hands-on training on the simulator, which is the real-time simulator, and they tend to learn a lot. The students tend to learn a lot because the kind of practical exposure that they get with the simulator is cannot be matched basically with theories and books and all. So the second pic that you're seeing is from Reliance Power, the Hanu, which is near Mumbai. Now again, a batch of students have gone to Reliance Power. They have gone through the simulator training for a week, and the first one is the SR Power 600 megawatt thermal power station, which has the simulator training module itself. And it's also for 1 week. Seeking on the career options of electrical and power system engineers. uh, when we come on to the electrical engineering part, design and development is one of the most important areas for electrical engineers, wherein they decide the layouts, they decide onto the transmission network, the distribution network, the planning part comes under them. So, and of course, the monitoring and energy auditing is one of the major areas that are coming up. So, whereas if we talk about the power system engineering, we have the operation maintenance, planning, design, and execution of the power plants, then transmission distribution sector, which will be common for both, and of course they can become the energy auditor for power plants. So specifically for power plants, they can do energy auditing. Then of course R&D options are open for all the branches. These are some of the proud recruiters that over the years the various students have gone. So L&T, Turbo Atom Luminous, AMTL, Keppel Offshore, Ceasefire Industries, NPCL, CESC, Orange, Emerson. Adding to those, we have certain other companies as well, like Thermax, we have Tata Consulting, and so on and so forth. So, with this, I end my presentation, and I wish you luck uh, while choosing a career option, a better career option for you. So, I just end up with the lines: "Be the power of the nation." And if you have any queries, you can come up with some. Yeah. इनका क्वेश्चन इसमें आएगा. मैं बोल queries or questions regarding this, and type in where you are giving the mail IDs and all, so you can type your question there and I can answer. Okay, for master's degree options for power system engineers, you first of all, if you go for power system engineering, the best option that you get is to get into a power plant, any power plant in India or maybe abroad. For the uh, for the master's degree options, you are always open to, first of all, technically, if you want to go get into masters, then you have the power system engineering, masters in power system engineering. Then you have masters in electrical engineering, which is specializing in power plants. Then you have MBA, which is power management and MBA. Then you have masters in energy management. So all these career options will be open for you, and of course you will be eligible and you will be at par with the electrical engineers, because you are studying more or less the, see, 60% of the coursework is same. It is the last 40% that differs. So basic knowledge of electrical engineer and power system engineer would be more or less same. So you can go for any of the courses that electrical engineers would be going for. Anything that combines electrical and computer science, I would say directly there is nothing as a combination of computer science with electrical engineering, but of course you can pursue the electrical engineer part as BTech, and then you can go on for masters with there are many options such as computer aided simulation and computer aid simulation part with power systems, simulation part with electricals. So further after doing your BTech, since you will be getting some basic knowledge about the simulation softwares and all, further after doing BTech you can go for masters wherein you will precisely study the simulation part that you can do. Yeah. So last year placement percentage, we've got a good placement percentage last year. We have exceeded 80%, and we are hoping to increase it to 100% this year. And we are focusing on core sectors. We are not focusing on IT companies, which basically is the scenario all across, wherein people do BTech in electrical engineering and BTech in some electronics engineering, and they end up getting a job in IT sector. So we do not promote that, and we do not really see as an option. So we basically we want the students to get into core companies itself, or either go for higher studies. The expected cutoff, I really cannot answer that because for admission, no, sorry, I cannot answer that. I'm here for only power systems engineering and electrical engineering. Okay, that totally depends on the choice of branch that students take. It all depends on that. So the scenario here is for counseling in UPES. So the first or second day, petroleum is more preferred by students, and then we have other branches coming up. So second day onwards, we have the branches filling up, which will be all the other branches: mechanical, electrical, comprising everything, CS as well. This year, I think around, I'm not sure, but around 12 to 15,000 students have appeared for this. But I do not have the exact data with me because this is to be done by enrollment department itself. So the questions regarding the cutoffs and number of students, I really cannot answer that. How is CSE of UPES? That means computer science department. So computer science basically has a number of branches in itself. So it's not a single branch, computer science engineering. It's computer science with specialization in cloud computing, with specialization in oil and gas, so on and so forth. So uh, this is to be commented on by CS faculty who is more aware of the branches and aware of the in and out of each and everything there. See, the all yeah, interest in CS, go for CS, for petroleum. You cannot say that is better. Okay, which is best sector in placements? If we talk about the placements, more or less all the branches hit 100%, maybe 90 to 80% as well. So let's say for power system as well, we have already hit 80%, and maybe in next 1 or 2 months, by August, let's say, we will hit 100%. So placements as far as volume is concerned, all the branches, all the departments hit 100% in 4 years. But the thing is, the package, if you talk about the package per se, some of the branches do have a little bit higher packages as compared to the other branches. So I would not really comment on that, but yes, there is a parity, and yeah. Is electrical science better option than computer science? See, Rajiv, it's all about your interest. If you see, you must have studied physics, and you must have also studied computer science in 12th, 11th, 12th. So you see your interest. If you are comfortable with physics, electrostatics, and electricals, the Ohm's law, the basic circuits, and all, you go for electrical engineering. And if you are comfortable programming, the software part, development, and all, you go for computer science. So it's all about the interest. It's nothing like electrical is better or CS is better. That's really, I mean, you are the one to judge that thing based on your interest. For power system engineering, the last year the highest package was around 6.5, and the lowest was around 3. So that was the highest and lowest packages for power systems. The electrical engineering, as far as electrical engineering is concerned, last year we had the first batch started, and so in next 2 years, 3 years, we'll be up with some numbers regarding the packages. So, but power system has been there from last 10 years. That's a good question actually. The benefits of collaboration of UPS with Laureate gives immense opportunities for the students to get the exposure, the required exposure that is essentially the building block of the student technical knowledge, and that will help the student in higher studies, maybe working with the company. So if we talk about the collaboration of UPS with Laureate, I'll give you some of the examples. Like some of the students have already gone to some of the universities abroad for exchange programs. So, and many of our students have also gone for competitions which are being held up with the Laureate colleges and associated universities, wherein students have gone to Spain as well for the competitions. Definitely if you qualify here in UPS itself, you will be liable to go to Spain or maybe other countries for taking part in that competition. So that gives an exposure to all the students, and that gives a motivation for other students as well. Even if they don't go, they will work hard for that. So exchange programs are something which are really beneficial for the students and gives a good exposure to all. That will be, I think, enrollment department would be the best people to answer this. So, if you have queries related to the field, power system field, and the electrical engineering field, we can go ahead with the discussion. For electrical engineering, We have the batch running, so we still have 2 more years for the companies to come up. We are already in talks with the different companies, and we would line up, definitely line up the companies in next 2 years. So by the time the first batch passes out, so or the or graduates, so right now we do not have any company that came last year. So because electrical engineering just started, it's second year running. Yeah, electrical engineering has always been the evergreen branch that we always discuss about, and it has been there since 60s 70s, and is going to be evergreen in future as well. So I really have good feelings about electrical engineering, be it any college, uh, not university specific or anything, but electrical engineering per se would always be there, and the demand would be ever increasing for this. Again, related to cutoffs and the marks and the ranks, I think enrollment department would be the best people to answer. Okay, as far as counseling and admission process is concerned, 19th we do have a counseling for Uttarakhand domicile students, which will be held in campus. Then from 21st onwards, we have the 21st will be the first day, and we have the counseling session in Delhi. So for more details, you can contact the enrollment department here in UPES itself. On the website you can find out the contact number and details, or you can drop a mail as well, and your query will be rightly answered there. Okay, thank you all. May you get the branch of your choice, and may you excel in future. So thanks all for joining. All the best for